Today we're going to talk about a very common customer experience and business challenge, which is conversion. Simply put, we're going to talk about customers that see our advertising, walk into our store, or click on our site, but don't buy, or don't buy what we thought they were going to buy, don't come back, buy again, and certainly don't refer other people. So we're going to talk about a tool that will help us dig a little bit deeper into our personas and our customer journey maps, and that is something called decision science or behavioral science. So I'm going to stand on the lessons of BJ Fogg and talk a little bit about the three criteria that need to be in place in order for us to make a decision. And they are simple. We need to be motivated, we need to have the ability, and we need to be triggered to make a decision. So let's dig a little bit into this to give you a sense of what we can do in our next project meeting to find some solution to why our customers haven't been buying. So the first, let's drive into this motivation thing. We need to think about where that customer's headspace is at that time. And then we need to think about the messaging that we're using to get these folks excited or be in the right frame of mind to make a decision. And this is broken down into a few fairly common points. Our customer needs to be motivated through potentially hope or fear, pleasure, pain, or social acceptance or rejection. So we all know those folks that love to be rebels. For them, a rebellious product or solution may be all the motivation that they need. On the flip side, many a financial product is sold on hope and fear. Insurance is often sold by presenting what might happen in the event of something bad, a disability or a car accident, for example. So we need to think about how we're motivating our customer given the need that they have. And only when we get that motivation right will we be able to get them to make a decision. The second component of decision making is ability. Now, this is simpler than it sounds. There are 6 components to ability. And think of these like filters through which to assess whether our product or solution fits. This may be where much of our customer conversion falling away is coming from. So these 6 points are this. Does our customer have the time to complete this decision in this moment? Is the decision process simple, time-consuming, or is it complicated? Does our target customer have a suitable amount of money in that moment to make that decision? What about physical effort? Is there a long commute, a long drive, or a considerable amount of organization that would be required to make that decision at home? I'm thinking about filing your income taxes online. Is it mentally taxing, the decision, or how taxing mentally is the decision? Is it normal, or is it weird? Does such a decision gel with what most people's peers would have to go through, or is it a completely novel, innovative way of going forward? And then sort of the corollary of that is how routine is it? So if our customer is to make a decision, they're going to assess, maybe not consciously, but they're going to assess their ability to make a decision based on these 6 points: time, money, physical effort, mental effort, routineness, and normality, for lack of a better word. Now, the third piece, this one is going to be quite normal, I think quite common to many of us, and it's called the timing. Did we put the right trigger in front of the right customer in the right way at the right time? Now, there's a few filters that we can run through with this one as well, and they're also fairly simple to understand. The first of these is a call to action. This is going to be most familiar to our user experience pros out in the market. Think one-stop shopping. If I'm trying to buy a thing that I need from Amazon, for example, then a one-click buy is a really simple way to do it. This kind of trigger is super effective because quite often we have lots of ability to complete it, but we may not necessarily have all the motivation that we need. So in this particular case, the call to action works really well with that little check out and buy button because it's so simple. So in this case, low motivated but high ability kind of situation, we made it effortless, boom, click, lots of success can be had in that way. So perhaps there's a solution for your product or your solution by introducing a really great trigger like a call to action. In another case, I mentioned income tax filing. It's not simple most of the time. We need to be organized. It needs to be a thing we actually have to sit down consciously and work through for a bunch of time. So in this case, if we're trying to get a customer to use our income tax software, instead of just bringing it over to their accountant, perhaps a facilitator type trigger would be much more valuable here. And these are very simple. Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer in this case needs to know that there's help, that this is not going to be so hard, that it is not going to take as much time or as much effort as they thought it would. So in this particular case, facilitator triggers, be they videos or short text to encourage our customer through, can be incredibly powerful. These same types of triggers have been used consistently when we're talking about enterprise software sales. How can we help the decision makers beyond the person sitting in front of us see how easy it will be or how straightforward it will be when they think it might be complicated? Facilitator triggers are really useful when we have a great deal of motivation to make a decision, but we don't necessarily have, or we don't think we have, the ability to make a decision in that moment because perhaps we're time starved. And the third one is best used for customers that have both a high degree of motivation to make a decision and have a great deal of ability to make the decision. So in this case, great examples would be I need to go and get my blood test done so that I can go have my annual physical. So this kind of trigger is best as a reminder, a signal in a more generic term, because I am motivated to go get my physical done, to go get my visit my doctor, and I am also quite able to book my own cab, arrange my day in order to make it happen. All I might need in that case is a signal, just something to remind me to do it. This one tends to be overused quite a bit, so signals can become extremely irritating if used in the wrong way with the wrong customer in the wrong decision-making framework. So the lesson here is this. When we do our marketing personas, when we do our user stories, we often stop a bit short. We get lots of great demographic information. We do learn a fair bit about our customers, but perhaps digging one level deeper and understanding how is it that our customer makes a decision, and then applying the filters that I presented today of, can I look at how my customer is making a decision through the guise of how motivated they are? Can I ask in my next project meeting, does my customer have the ability, in this case, to make this decision through the lens of the 6 points that we talked about? And 3, am I using the right trigger? Is it in the right place at the right time? And I'm confident that if in your next project meeting you work through motivation, ability, and trigger in addition to the demographic information you already know about your customer, that you will find some novel way to improve conversions, innovate your store, or find some new product innovation that'll change the game. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you got something valuable out of this. I look forward to hearing from you directly if you want to have a little bit more one-to-one on solving this kind of problem going forward. I would love to talk about conversions with you.